Hey everybody, it's me, Mike Thompson at Epic Flight Academy. Check out this book, Telling is Not Teaching. Try to find it at Amazon.com. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Epic Flight Academy. This is the private pilot ground school and my name is Mike Thompson. Remember, to be successful in this course, don't just watch these videos. You need to study Epic's online learning program, and thirdly, discuss these topics one-on-one with your flight instructor. Today's lesson is about static and dynamic stability. When we talk about stability, we talk about it in terms of either static or dynamic. Now let's start with static stability. The word static means stationary or stable or not moving. In terms of static stability, what we mean is the aircraft's initial tendency if it were upset. Now it's important to remember, we are not talking about pilot input. We're talking about the aircraft being upset from its natural stable state. A good example of what typically causes that? Turbulence. So let's say that turbulence were to upset my airplane. What does the airplane initially do all by itself with no pilot input? That's static stability. And it may do one of three things. It may do one of these three things. It may return to where it initially started. Now, think of that like the steel ball inside of a hubcap, or the picture here on your left. The second thing that it might do, if it's upset, it might move to that new position and then just stay there. Now, think about that like the steel ball on a flat plate. That's the picture here in the middle. The third possibility is that aircraft, once it's upset, may continue in the direction that it's going. Think about that as the steel ball here on the outside of the hubcap. That initial tendency is what we call static stability. And that's it, just what it does initially. Now, we all know that it's not going to be frozen in time. It's going to have an initial tendency and then it's going to start to behave as time goes forward or over time, and by this we mean dynamic stability. Dynamic means moving and changing, and we're referring to changes over time. So if my airplane has positive dynamic stability, what that means is, like the top of this diagram, once it's displaced, it starts to gradually come back to where it was. If it has neutral dynamic stability, it's displaced, it displaces the same amount the other direction, the same the other direction, the same the other direction, and it just keeps going like that over time. Neutrally dynamic. If it has negative dynamic stability, once it's displaced, it comes back, but it's further displaced, comes back and even further displaced, and further and further and further. That's negative dynamic. So let's take a look at these three pictures again. Only this time, let's ask ourselves, what is it doing statically and what is it doing dynamically? So, airplane at the top, what does it tend to do initially? Once it's displaced, it tends to return to where it was. What kind of static stability is that? Positive static stability. And Those oscillations get smaller and smaller over time. What's that? Positive dynamic stability. Look at the second one. Once the aircraft is displaced, what does it tend to do? Go back where it was. Again, positive static stability. But its displacement is equal over time, neutrally dynamic. Now look at the third one. What does it tend to do after it's displaced? You got it. Once again, it is positively static. But this airplane is diverging farther and farther and negatively dynamic. Now, is it possible for an airplane to have negative static stability? Think about that for a second. Static stability means its initial tendency. Positive static means it initially comes back to where it was. Well, what would negative static stability be? Once it's displaced, it does not come back to where it was. It continues to go further and further away from where it was initially. Negative static stability. So here is a review question for today's lesson. When we talk about stability, if we were to refer to stability of the aircraft over a period of time, would that be static or dynamic?